So when it comes to the overall sentiment by shareholders and just some of the key points that came out at the AGM, would you say that it's overall positive?
Yeah, well, in general, I can say it was quite positive because, as you're aware, our turnover has been increasing over the past 3 years, and our profitability also has been increasing over the past 3 years. So, and the dividends we declared, I think, at 1 shilling per share, this was among the highest that we've ever declared in the past years. So I think it was overall positive. We actually are distributing 50% of the operating profits after tax in dividend, and I think this was received quite well by the shareholders.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing this reflected in your share price as well. We know that you have been performing quite well on the equity market. So you're saying that you're very positive about growth into 2012.
Growth in?
Into 2012, into this year.
Yes, in 2012. Well, we hope to maintain the trend this year. The tea prices are holding up. The coffee prices are fairly reasonably holding up, and we hope to continue in this trend. So we hope to maintain the direction of a positive increasing turnover and increasing profitability in this year.
Well, we also know a few days ago that the largest global tea auction was actually halted because of a tax dispute with government. We know that government officials have been liaising with the tea industry. I'm sure they have also been speaking closely with you. What is the update there?
Well, the latest update is that there was a dispute. That is true because there was a new ad valorem tax that was being levied on the tea industry on the final product for export. And as we know, 95% of Kenya's tea is exported, so this was going to be levied on 95% of our produce which we export. Now, this cost was going to be passed on to the producer, and we are producers ourselves. So we're not very happy that such a large amount had been imposed as a tax, and yet we should be encouraging export incentives instead of taxing increasingly the exports. Yeah. The latest is that the government is quite keen to discuss this particular issue. The tax has been put at 1%, and probably there might be room to possibly reduce it at some stage. There's also a discussion around delaying its implementation as we sort out some of the issues. This is the latest update, but I think there's been very positive engagement with the government and the Tea Board of Kenya on this particular issue. Well, I mean, they also want to encourage exports.
Well, I mean, with regards to that 1% levy that was actually going to be implemented, which is equivalent to 1% of the customs value, what kind of scenario are you foreseeing going forward, Dr. Mwangi? Do you think that the government is just going to back down, or are they just leaving things to cool off a bit and then come in with a slightly more manageable number?
Well, I'm not sure they're going to back down because, one, there's a gazetted law that has been put in place. But what happens when the laws are gazetted, the implementation of the law is left to the ministry, the parent ministry, which is the Ministry of Agriculture, to operationalize. In operationalizing, they are able to delay implementation, or they are able to change some of the parameters for implementation. And this is what we're looking at, possibilities of changing some of the parameters for the implementation of the law. And I think they're quite positive because the tea industry is a huge contributor to this economy. One of the things that this new tax can do is actually to make Kenyan teas less attractive in international markets. And if this reduces demand for Kenyan teas, it also reduces the foreign currency being brought in the country, and it jeopardizes the entire economy altogether. So instead of helping, it will be messing up the economy. Yeah. So they're open to discuss this, actually. We do not know what the eventual position will be, but the thing is that they're quite keen to discuss.
So, Mr. Mwangi, we're just looking at what we have been seeing from the competitive arena. We also know that other tea operators and coffee operators in Kenya also making headway and gaining traction. How do you remain competitive? Does it really have to do with the cost structures that you've actually put in place? I mean, taking a look at Limuru Tea, Williamson Tea is also one of the favorites right now.
Yes. In fact, you see, the good thing with Kenya, we've got a history of tea, and we're able to produce fairly good quality tea. Thank goodness thank God for our climate, for our soils, and we've got a culture of growing tea over many years. And I think this quality has been recognized worldwide, because the beauty of tea is a commodity that it is consumed all over the world. So I think we have a good advantage in that area. And also what we're finding is that in other tea-growing countries like India and Sri Lanka, the soils are getting rather depleted for some reason. So we are still having a fairly reasonable soil here, and we're able to produce fairly good tea. So I think we still have a competitive advantage in terms of our climate, our soils, and our culture of growing tea.
Well, let's also look
at... We have a reputation out there of producing good tea.
Yeah. What about the shilling? I mean, we're sitting at around 82, 83 to the US dollar. We saw it weakening to 107. I'm sure exporters at that stage were smiling. I'm sure you were. At what level are you comfortable with the shilling?
Certainly the shilling has come down from the highs of 87 we had in October last year to now around between 80 and 85, around 82, 83. What level are we comfortable with? I think we are comfortable with anything between 82 and 85 because we cannot operate in isolation. As much as exporters benefit when that shilling is very weak, also our input costs become very high because we are dependent. We are oil importing country. All our fertilizers are imported, and all these actually affect us. And in general, we are quite comfortable if the shilling settles around 85. I think we should still manage. Okay, we would of course not mind 90, but realistically, for the entire economy, we have to also be a little bit. We operate in an ecosystem. So we cannot claim that we just want a weak shilling for the sake of our export product. Yeah. The inputs are also quite expensive, and we feel that we would be comfortable at 85.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Mwangi. Great to have you on the program. That was the MD of Sasini Tea coming to us live.